Welcome to Vintage Burn. This is Kev.
And Doug.
And we are doing a movie review again. We know it's been 3 months or so. We're going to be back on track. We are doing 2015's Bone Tomahawk with Mr. Kurt Douglas and a couple other actors. Kurt Douglas.
Kurt Douglas? What version of this did you watch?
I meant Kurt Russell. Kurt Douglas. And
You're so adamant about it too.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't be as good as Kurt Russell, that's for sure, in this role. Kurt Russell is the man when it comes time to country and western roles.
Yeah, and this I think is his first country type movie since Tombstone. I don't think he's really done anything that I can think of.
Sexy Kurt Russell. He's just awesome, man.
Yeah.
Anything that dude does is magic. Even if I hate the movie, I still like him constantly.
He's a great Santa Claus, too. My new favorite Santa Claus. So anyway, alright, Bone Tomahawk.
Alright, so 2015, running at 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's a long one, but it goes quick. It doesn't feel like that long, because it's every scene's enjoyable, the dialogue. So it does go quick. And then 7.1 on the IMDb scale, which obviously we know that's really good because people are picky as fuck. So.
Yeah.
It was kind of a budget $1.8 million. It only grossed $382,000. So it kind of tanked in the box office, which is very surprising. Yeah.
I'm shocked by that. But
I mean,
again,
that's
it's
bad.
a western, man. Westerns, I don't know how popular westerns are anymore.
Yeah, but did it get a wide release? That's always the question, Or was it just shown on 10 screens? Who knows,
But I mean, look at the cast they had in this. You know what I mean? You think it would have been this would have been in every theater, for just because of. Yeah. I mean, you got Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox, Richard Jenkins.
No.
But I feel like Patrick Wilson only became popular after The Conjuring. Oh, I guess this was after The Conjuring because the first Conjuring came out 2012. So yeah,
it was one of those movies. I picked it up because it was a hidden gem. It was one of those that, hey, if you haven't checked this out, it's actually a horror movie, even though you wouldn't know that by looking at even just the cover, right? And it wasn't spoken of. So I must have read it somewhere and just said, fuck it, I'm going to watch it. And I think maybe it was on Shudder at that point, or maybe not, I don't know. I bought it. I
remember watching it at your old apartment. You know what I mean? I remember just wondering, hey, dude, check this movie out. You like Kurt Russell, right? I'm like, well, duh. And fucking I just sat there and I was just glued. I think it's the horror version of Tombstone.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing happened with me, though. I was told, Doug, I believe, was oh, dude, you should watch that movie. My friend Pete, you should watch that movie. Cousin Kevin, you should watch that movie. And finally, I watched it a year and a half ago. Now I've seen it 10 times.
Yeah.
It's just such
a lot of dialogue. If you're looking for, it's not going to be a thriller that's going to make you jump constantly. It's definitely going to be more. If you've seen Tombstone, I mean, again, just add some horror elements into Tombstone, and some pretty brutal kill scenes.
So why would this can be? And then I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not why would you consider this a horror? Because of the gore?
Yeah, I think the gore factor really just makes it.
Well, a guy gets split in half and it shows it.
That is the most brutal scene. That is the most brutal scene in the movie.
Yeah.
And you know what? We've seen a lot. That, for whatever reason, I have a very hard time watching that.
And it's the noises too. Yes. It's not just the visual. It's the you can hear the hacking and you can hear him scream gurgling. It's just
I did
gets me every time.
I did listen to one review and they were talking about how a lot of the cannibal movies, the old Italian ones, they had very wet sound effects, soundtrack. This whole movie it's very dry. Tell he wanted to give you the real desert feel. Yeah. So when you hear the crack, it's not you hear it a little bit, but you hear the bone, you hear the dry, and it just gives you a more realistic.
It's cringe, man. It's cringe.
Yeah,
I can't.
And I've seen it 8 times. And I still squint my eyes and look away.
Exactly.
It's oh man, it's brutal.
That's how I feel. Yeah,
the
movie's
very tough.
Good.
It's tough to watch.
But you know what I love about the movie too, though, right off the bat, it opens up with David Arquette, Buddy or whatever his name is, and just slitting some dude's throat sleeping. It's just that's the tone it sets. Literally, within a second, that's what you're watching.
It's when you hear it's black screen and you haven't even seen anything yet, you just hear flies buzzing. You're this isn't gonna be good. And then and then the opening scene right out of the gate, just him slicing the dude's throat.
Yeah, and then that's where you meet the first troglodyte, as they're called. I guess they're troglodytes.
the cannibalistic cave dwellers. The troglodytes.
They killed poor Sid Haig. It's unfortunate Sid Haig's only in the movie for 3 minutes. I would have liked him in the movie more.
Yeah, we were just talking about this a minute ago, but do you remember when David Arquette's like, his character's like, do you hear that? You hear that whistling? He's like, it's just the wind. He's like, well, if it's just the wind, it got really musical. He's like, I don't have time for your womanly imaginings. I'm gonna start using that at work now. It's like an everyday banger. But yes, then Sid Haig's also, and he was in a small part.
Rest in peace, Sid Haig.
Rest in
peace. Maybe he was sick at that time too. I know he was sick for a lot of years.
Well, I mean, when Ken and Sheila met him, I guess he was really fragile. He couldn't really stand.
Yeah, he was on his last.
Yeah, but he ended up dying like a month or two after.
Yeah,
so you're right.
And that was probably 2018. I think they went and met him.
He may have been sick, and so he took on super light roles to just people wanted him in stuff, and he could only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at him in the last Rob Zombie flick. I mean, everyone's like, why is Captain Spaulding in prison or whatever, and he couldn't. He just couldn't be in the movie. They had to. I read something with Zombie where he's like, I didn't have a choice. I had to rewrite his character for Captain Spaulding because he's like, Sid Haig was like, I can't do this shit. So he's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? You're like one of the main Devil's rejects. I got to figure something out. So they had to bring somebody else in to kind of fill his shoes as a new character.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that movie.
Devil's Rejects.
No, 3 from Hell.
Yeah,
that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think of that. He might have said, "Yeah, I'll be in it," but I can only be in it for
he did.
20 minutes.
He did. So he was like, "Well, what am I gonna do?"
Because you can tell he's very, very frail, even in this. You can tell, but it adds to his character, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So written by, and I kind of cracked up. So it's S. Craig Zoller.
Sure.
Zoller. But I'm like, is it S or is it S? Like Craig, like M. Night or Night.
Yeah.
Shyamalan, whatever his name is. So he wrote and directed this. I guess he has 5 novels out, and this is his first, or I think the first one he did wrote and directed. He has a couple other ones out. I don't know. Oh no, I'm sorry. He wrote and directed Dragged Across Concrete and Brawl in Cell 99.
Wait, did you say these were? Is this based on a novel?
I believe so.
Ah. All right.
Or that might be fake news. I know he has novels out. I don't know if this was a movie adaptation.
All right.
But he wrote Puppet Master, The Little Strike, and then another horror called A Silent Blackout, which I'm not familiar with either of those. But so yeah, he's kind of like an up and coming director. I guess the other movies people tend to like.
Okay.
I've never seen him, but and also filmed in 21 days. Another fun fact. And the cave from the last scene with the cave dwellers and shit was actually the set from the first Iron Man when he's assembling his suit and in jail. Yeah,
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun fact.
That is pretty interesting. I didn't know that. I mean, now that you look at it, I mean, pretty much the same shit.
That's really cool.
Makes sense.
Have you ever seen the movie The Time Machine back? It's the '60s version.
No, I've only ever seen the one that came out the early 2000s. So.
With
Guy Pearce or
Guy
whatever.
Pearce.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they don't look. The creatures from the original don't look like the troglodytes in any way, shape, or form. But what I get is for some reason I get a feel from the Time Machine with these characters, the creatures. For whatever reason, it just makes me think of the Time Machine. I think it's just characters stumbling upon these humans or creatures from a different world, even though they're within the same geography. It's totally different world for them, and it just gave me that whole feel. I don't know why. It's just, for me, I got a connection to that.
And that one came out in the 60s? That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the Time Machine I'm pretty sure it was from the 60s or 70s. Yeah,
check it out. I'll put that on my list, along with 78's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's supposed to be an excellent movie, too. I've never seen it, though.
It's a slow burn. It's the 60s, right? Yeah. So it's... it's not the most exciting, but the creatures are really cool, and there's some sounds too. They have this horrific sound. I don't know if it's a siren sound or something that takes effect in that movie, and it's just a kind of haunting. So that also reminded me of the device that they had in their throats, right? That they made
the whistlers or whatever
whistling sound, but it was a horrendous haunting sound. You know what I mean? Throughout the movie. So that's where I also associated the Time Machine too.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. All right, I'll definitely have to watch that.
Just that for me.
Yes. So you know, the premise of the movie basically is these troglodytes. Buddy, from what we talked about, he takes some bones or something, right, or something from them. Mm-mm. Doesn't he take something? Then that why they come and kidnap people?
They're just cutting through the burial ground.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah.
So they're opening scene. They're
because he buries something
in town.
In town. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
in the very beginning, they're robbing these guys that were just camping out out in the thing,
sleeping. Yeah.
And one of them, he didn't cut the throat all the way, and Sid Haig's like,
yeah.
There's 16 arteries in the neck, and you gotta cut them all.
Yeah.
You know. And so one of them doesn't die, and is gonna go fucking get his gun. So Sid Haig shoots him.
Yeah.
And then the gunshot, alerts them of. So that's why the cave dwellers end up coming, is because they hear the gunshot.
Okay.
And then they're going through this thing, going through the the valleys, and there's like a big, not a pentagram, but like a big, like you can tell it's like a burial ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just them going on their burial ground. That's what.
So that's what it was. So what was he burying when he gets to town?
The stuff that he stole.
Oh, okay.
It was like books and bloody clothes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You've been squirting lemon juice in my ass since the moment you walked in. So that's the other thing. There's a lot of great quotes in this.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
Just like so the Hateful Eight came out the same year.
Mm-hmm. And they're very reminiscent of each other to an extent, obviously.
To an extent.
It doesn't have the horror aspect.
I could see that, yeah.
But I think they're very similar. And Kurt Russell's in both of them.
Yeah.
Magical.
I know, in the same year.
Same year.
He, just like, Quentin Tarantino loves his dialogue, too. A lot of his movies are fucking 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Dialogue.
But this one here, there's a lot of dialogue, but it's, like, good. It's just enough. It's sufficient. It's not overly done. It doesn't just drag on. It's just kind of like these good little... You can tell, like, all the characters are just, like, good men. They're good, likable men,
And it's entertaining as all hell. Their conversations are freaking entertaining as all hell. And that's what I like. And I think that Quentin Tarantino comparison is perfect. Like, it really is. Because Quentin Tarantino movies, very rarely am I bored of them.
Yeah.
The dialogue's always pretty tight. The only one I had a little trouble with was the last one. I mean, it was still a good movie, but it was one of my least favorites. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever.
I still loved it, but I get
it was my least favorite out of his movie. I still enjoyed it, though.
This was a lot more dialogue. Mm-hmm. Again, not much of a thriller, except for the couple scenes that you do get with the standoffs between them and the troglodytes.
Yeah, so David Arquette, Buddy, goes to the bar. Kurt Russell goes to check him out. He's, being an asshole, David Arquette. And he ends up shooting him in the leg. And so that's where the doctor, what's her name? Patrick Wilson's wife there.
Yeah, I just call her Mrs. O'Dwyer.
Mrs. O'Dwyer.
I don't know what her actual name is.
That is it. Yeah, Mrs. O'Dwyer. That's what they call her in the movie.
Oh,
they all say Miss O'Dwyer, Miss O'Dwyer.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's how it all starts, and like she has to go help him, and then everybody gets kidnapped, and they kill the stable boy.
The stable boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then they kidnap her and bring her back, and that's what basically what the movie's about. It's Kurt Russell, his deputy, who's an old man, and
Chicory,
and then Matthew Fox from Party of Five, all going to save him.
Yep.
And so Matthew Fox's character, Browder, is just this very cocky young. Was he like not a deputy? He's something.
Is
right?
he even law? I just thought he was just like a good shot. Like
I don't know.
He's just good. He's like one of those like guys that gets into gunfights.
Yeah.
Like
he's very very cocky, very arrogant. He claims he's like the smartest one there. And
yeah.
And it's and you think throughout the movie that he's gonna like turn on them or he's gonna like. But then you just realize, like, at the end, obviously we're not quite there yet, but you can just, like, he ends up being just, like, a good dude, but he's just very vain, very cocky,
Well, he talks shit about Patrick Wilson's wife, basically flirting. Oh, what does he say? Like, I'll be there for her or something if something happens to you. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then that's when Patrick Wilson, who already has a broken leg, by the way, goes to punch him and he damages his leg even more on the way.
Oh, that's right. That's when they're already...
Yeah.
So this must have been a tough role for Patrick Wilson, because like on top of the acting,
he has to do the limp and
then to have the limp and have realistic like pain scenes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other aspect of like acting.
But that's basically what the movie is. They're going to go rescue Mrs. O'Dwyer and Buddy if he's still alive. They don't know who's still alive because the troglodytes just basically kidnapped them.
Yep. And then Nick I don't know, he was part of the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
too.
it's the one who gets cut in half.
Yeah.
Gets fucking by his testicles. Ugh.
And then we'll get to that scene, but
we've already gone to it.
Yeah, we're there. But I can't think
of any other scene that's as bad as that one. I think that's the one thing I wish there was more of that in the movie.
Yeah, I do like when Patrick Wilson kills one when he has to rescue them because they all end up getting kidnapped, and he cuts out the throat. You could see like the tendons and stuff. They did a good job with that.
They did.
And like you could see like stringy stuff coming off. It looks like it's just literally detaching muscle.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what it was in his throat.
Yeah.
So what was it, like just a piece of bone, like an animal bone? That
Pretty
they made
much,
into a whistle,
something like that.
Like?
Yeah.
They made it into
a
bona fide whistle in their throat. Yeah, it's crazy.
But that whole scene, it's like the eerie thing is too. It's like he's talking the whole time. It's like they're talking to him as he's like about to get like cut in half.
The cavalry's coming.
Yeah. When Kurt Russell just starts throwing junk at him. Just to make him feel better, and then Chicory's like, "Is it true? Why'd you say all that?" And he's like, "If I was dying, that's what I would want to hear. That my death is going to be avenged, and we're going to be saved." And
cavalry's coming. Nobody's coming, brother.
Yeah, he's like, I just thought you might have had some backup plan, and all right, let's talk about favorite characters. If you guys had to pick,
yeah, I mean, for me, I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah, me too. I'm with you. I just think he's. Just his acting performance is just awesome, and
again, this whole cast did a great job, but it's Kurt Russell. I mean,
I know it's like you said, it's like Tombstone. It's like it's a Wyatt Earp, like just like 20 years older, and just as wise, and he just the way he's so stern, like he can be so like stern and like but funny at the same time. It's just like the way Kurt Russell can bring it.
You also really wanted this to have a really happy ending with everybody. I expected everyone to. I don't know. I'm glad it didn't end the way I expected, but I was kind of like hoping that everyone would be okay and they'd be able to go make a rescue, and there'd be a lot of killing along the way. But I thought it would be more of the troglodytes, not realizing like, okay, well, they're gonna take out pretty much all these guys.
Yeah. You don't think like between Matthew Fox and like Kurt Russell, you think you think they're all gonna make it, know?
Yeah.
But like you said, that's not really realistic, No. You don't want Kurt Russell to die, you don't want Matthew Fox to die, but it's more realistic that way,
Yeah.
And
he does, if I recall, he does take out almost all, if not all of them.
Yeah, because he knows the men know where the village is, so he's going to take them all out.
He takes them all out.
And then the two... I didn't realize watching this like the second and third time. It's like when they're leaving and they go past the pregnant women, I didn't realize they had no fucking legs.
Yeah.
So they cut their legs off, so they would just basically... They couldn't move, they would just sit there and have babies, and they couldn't do anything. They couldn't run away, they couldn't...
Yeah.
How fucked up is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just like another, like... And this is after, like, the hack scene, too, and you're already on edge, and then you just see, like, these women are just, like...
Mm-hmm.
Being used as tools.
Yeah, just
push out kids. Keep their troglodyte tribe going.
Yeah.
That was again not a lot, but for what was shown, it was great, and that's why I'm like, man, they really could have had more.
Yeah.
Or maybe that was the point. The more maybe it would have taken away from the effects of those scenes and the build up to that.
And I agree. I think it adds to it. Like. Definitely, because they're few and far between, so you don't expect it. Like, when you see a total gore fest, like, say, a movie like Terrifier or something, and it just becomes old after a while. It's just, all right,
it's
slaughter.
Yeah, the constant slaughter. You're like, okay, is there anything more to this?
Yeah.
So you're right. It's really 3/4 dialogue, and then, just a quarter murder.
And Doug, who's your favorite character? I know you were super excited, because you have a different one. I know that.
Obviously, Kurt Russell is my biggest man crush for 25 years now, but, I like Chicory.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know why. He just seemed like just a nice old guy. Like you feel like he could be your grandfather or like an older uncle, and he's just very sweet, very just doesn't take himself too seriously. Like the scene where they first find out that this stable boy, the thieving stable boy, was murdered, and the wife of the mayor walks in, and she's like, "Why was my husband not like notified right away about this incident?" And he's like, he told me to tell you, and I forgot. He's like, am I supposed to believe that? And he's like, oh, maybe. And he's just... And then, like, you can tell when you first meet him, he's walking into Kurt Russell, like, cooking, and he's like, that tea smells gruesome. He's like, well, it's because it's soup. He's like, can I have some? I haven't had a good meal in days.
Yeah.
He's just, especially towards the end, like, when, he knew they were in a very dire situation. Like, they were in the cage and shit, and he, he was just still very, like, he was never angry, and if he did get angry, he'd always, like, apologize, like, right after, you know?
Yeah, he was a good character, and I like his, when he was talking about his wife a lot, how she hated him. But which leads into one of my favorite lines of the movie, is, like, Kurt Russell ends up getting cut open, because they have opium. They have, like, a little bit of opium, so they go to poison the troglodytes, and the doctor says, the first 2 you'll get them, but the third one... will be fine, you know, or whatever, with 2 fingers of opium. And anyway, so they end up drinking the flask and they throw it in the fire, right? And then when Kurt has, like, that final fight, they cut him open and they stick the flask in the wound. It's gotta be, that's also a kind of gruesome part. Yeah. And then he ends up cutting the dude's foot off. That's another gruesome part.
Yeah.
You know, but I love it. When he's dying, his words are, because, you know, Chicory's wife's already dead. He's like, I'll say goodbye to my wife, and I'll say hello to yours. And that line gets me every time. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, very impactful.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually shed a tear, but my eyes definitely watered up. You know what I'm saying?
You're crying.
Yeah, you expected him to make it out of it. Again, he's somewhat of a hero. His hero's death, but still sucks. Because I'm like, oh, there's no way they're going to kill off Kurt Russell in this.
Oh, and they did.
Yeah, they did.
And they did. I mean, he dies in The Hateful Eight, too, right?
He does.
If I can remember correctly, I thought he died in that one, too.
I think he does, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does, yeah. I love that movie. That's a fucking great movie.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Again, he was also playing more of, I think he was a bad guy in that one, too, right?
Well, he was delivering, what's that actress's name?
I know, she was great in that.
She was good, yeah. She's an old 80s actress. I just can't remember her real name. But anyway, I haven't seen that in a while, so I don't have my facts on it. But anyway, I think he was a bounty hunter or something like that. Yeah, something like that in that movie.
But yeah, he doesn't make... Again, I was like, what? Kurt Russell? No way.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, overall, man, I thought this movie was sheer entertainment. I mean, obviously, I just said I've probably watched it 8 times in the last 2 years, so...
It's a recommend for
all of
us, I would say. Yeah. But again, you know, if you're looking for straight slasher, horror, right out of the gate, I mean, you're gonna, you know, there are some scenes, but for the most part, it's a dialogue movie. But the kill scenes that you do get are well worth it, cringeworthy. You will turn your head with the split scene, split like a half chicken, without a doubt, unless you've got the stomach for it. But I mean,
yeah, it's rough. It's more the sounds for me. You know,
because even when you close your eyes, like. You can
still hear, and you know what's going on because you've seen it.
And they make you care for the character. It's not just some random person that we're watching. It's you have character development far before that.
Yeah, to an extent,
which makes it harder because you know the character.
And even up to the moment where he's being split, like they have his legs like spread eagle, and he's like, and make sure blah blah blah, like it's my brothers, and he's like like up to like the minute he's split in half, like you're still getting that relationship. He's not just
terrible.
Yeah, like a young kid.
And like you were saying before, I think Kurt Russell really adds to it because he's just such a good actor, man. Like the way he's talking to him, like you said with the cavalry. Well, I said the cavalry's coming and stuff. It just I think it adds to the scene. It makes it more impactful.
Yeah.
So I think good acting could just help that along. I don't know, man. Again, just awesome.
Recommend.
Man. I love it. I loved it.
Yeah, this was when Kevin first told me about it, I'm like, yeah, I'll watch a Kurt Russell Western-ish. I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, once they leave Bright Hope, that Bright Hope fades real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Where would you rank this in like the Kurt Russell? Like, if you had to, like, middle of the road, high up, like, obviously the thing I prefer. I'm gonna say the thing I prefer.
It would be top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it would fall into it. Like, it'd be like Big Trouble Little China, Overboard.
Overboard, yeah.
Overboard's great.
Right? I mean, Escape from New York is
that's a great one too. Yeah.
And you know his '80s stuff, I love. I don't know.
Tango and Cash. That was a cool movie.
Can you really rate any Kurt Russell movie?
Yeah, that's a tough.
I mean, he's had some bad ones like Captain Ron.
I still love Captain Ron.
Come on, Captain Ron was terrible.
I still like it.
I mean, it had its moments, but
I still like Captain Ron.
And then the Santa Claus movies.
Not his best. He's great in these new Santa Claus movies on Netflix. The second one was okay. Yeah,
I'm not a Christmas movie, guys.
They're okay.
Doesn't matter who's in them.
He's great in those. He just does Santa awesome.
There's like 2.
And his wife's in it too with him, which is great. So Goldie Hawn, his real wife, is actually playing Mrs.
Goldie
Claus.
Hawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 2 Christmas movies I watch: is Scrooged and Christmas Vacation, and I think that's it. Like pure Christmas ones.
Yeah, those are always on the list.
And Die Hard, but I don't consider that
Die
pure,
Hard, exactly.
Lethal Weapon.
No Ernest Saves Christmas?
That one's actually decent, but I haven't watched it in years. I'm scared to watch Ernest now after watching.
Yeah, I think the first 3 hold up
better. I will
better.
say that I do appreciate Ernest Saves Christmas over the Halloween movie.
Yeah. I'd rather watch Paint Dry than watch that movie again.
It's not that bad.
Oh, it's terrible.
No.
I'd rather watch Paint Dry. I love how Doug the other day was online like, "Wow, there should be a prequel to the Troll."
Do you see how many people reacted to it though?
No, that would be cool. Actually, I wouldn't mind that. Unfortunately, Jim Varney's dead.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. But yeah, that would probably be better. I even said it. If the movie stayed in that like 17th century or whatever century it is, I would have liked that. I would have liked it better. Going into the future with trash shit, fuck that movie.
Fuck that.
I don't know how we're getting into this again.
All right, on that note, this is Kev.
And Marco.
And Ernest Lover.
Ernest Lover Doug.
Signing out. Until next time, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.